Back another week, still in quarantine. So we're in the little boxes here, different houses. No guests tonight, so we're gonna do a little smaller, kind of different version. New show called 4 in 20. So it's gonna be 4 topics, 20 minutes, 5 apiece. See some of y'all smiling at me because you catch the pun already. 4 in 20, we're gonna get in there. 5 quick topics and get out. So before we even get started, we get a little something off my chest here. I've been dogging this man for years. I was a big fan when he was younger. In his adult years, I can't stand his children. Will Smith, I'm sorry. Jada's put you through the ringer. You're looking like a broken man. The last time I saw pictures of you, I feel bad, Will. I mean, your father didn't want you in the show. Uncle Phil had to hug you. I feel bad all these years that I've dogged you. I just want to apologize to Will Smith on the record. Dude, the man's had a rough week, dude. Apparently he's in an open marriage that he doesn't want, but she does. There's a whole other side topic to that with the Scientologist and open marriages. But Will Smith, from the Crackback family, I'm sorry. So we're going to run right into this here. All right, so we start out with something a little campy here. We got a little bit of a serious topic, though. Deshaun Jackson made some anti-Semitic comments. You can Google them. I'll put them in on the Instagram page. Then his no relation, but Steven Jackson doubled up on those comments as well. 5 minutes starts now. Enrique, go ahead.
So, number one, I know that some people were looking for some kind of, excuse for him possibly not knowing. If you grew up in the United States with the access to information we've had for as long as we've had, there's no excuse to not know who Hitler is. So I don't want let's not even get into that. We know who Hitler is and what he did. And I don't want to, I'm not even going to speak to this as someone of Jewish descent. I'm just going to speak to it as what I interpret from what he said. So he posted a quote from Hitler, and and the reason why I think he doesn't get it and Stephen Jack doesn't get it is he claims that his goal was to educate and enlighten people. That basically shoves aside that you're basically saying you're not sensitive to the situation. You're just saying, oh, this is what I thought about it. I don't care what you say, right? So not only does he quote Hitler, right, when his boss, his GM is Jewish, his owner is Jewish, then he also posts a video of Louis Farrakhan, who's one of the leaders of the Nation of Islam, which is one of the largest anti-Semitic groups in the world. And then it says he has no hate in his heart. It makes no sense. The quote was basically saying that he believes that once white Americans find out that the real children of Israel are actually the blacks and not the Jews, they're going to regret all the lynching they're doing. Like the Southern KKK leaders and the Southern whites back then, they were definitely anti-Semitic already as it is. So that's already false right there.
But it's just terrible timing on top of that. I mean, I'm a comic myself. One of the things that a comic needs to do is be able to read the room. Mm-hmm. Come on, Steven. I mean, Deshaun was bad enough. And the backlash that he's going to get from it and the issues that he's going to have with the team and the league and his teammates and coaches, the whole nine, that's on him. But Steven Jackson has built up a lot of goodwill over the past month, with the passing of George Floyd and all the good work that he's done to squash it. And to fully squash it, but at least cause a distraction with this ridiculous comment. He backed up Deshaun Jackson, basically saying that he's trying to teach. You can't teach unless you understand something yourself. And they obviously didn't understand the quote because it was actually a derogatory, it was a dig at Jews, saying that once, the white Americans figure out they're the real evil, basically, is what they're saying. I'm paraphrasing right now as well. But it came from Hitler. Nothing good comes from Hitler. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing good has ever come from Hitler. So if you're going to start out with a quote, if anywhere in that quote it says Hitler said or by Hitler, erase that quote and find another one. All they're doing right now is causing a distraction to the good stuff that's been happening in this country, where people are actually coming together, where for once, I mean, everyone's saying Black Lives Matter, but we all understand that it's, you know, it's a coming together of everyone, and it's us versus the racists. But when you make stupid comments like this, what it does, it causes that message to get lost. So I'm not happy with Steven Jackson from all intents and purposes, according to Stephen A. Smith. I don't personally know him, obviously, but from watching on TV and all the pundits, Stephen A. Smith called him a stand-up dude. So he's probably a good guy. He was working off of emotion in this type of society where everything is recorded and every tweet that you send out and everything's going to be analyzed 75 million times. You can't work off of raw emotion. We've all typed out an email or typed out a tweet or something, stopped, read it back, thought about it for a second, and then deleted that. That's what should have happened to this comment from Steven Jackson. He should have read it back, and then he should have deleted it. We got 1 minute left on this one. Go ahead.
So to add to that on top of with Steven Jackson, he goes on CNN with Don Lemon, who Don Lemon is giving him every opportunity to apologize for what he said.
Yeah,
and
Don Lemon saw it and was trying to help him fix it. Yeah.
He gets super defensive, right? And he starts bringing up, number one, this is not what they did to Riley Cooper, when I hate when you compare two negative things. It's not right to do that. But also, he goes on TV talking about the Rothschilds conspiracy of controlling all the banks. So you're doubling down what he's saying. Yeah. You're looking more anti-Semitic. So what are people going to think now? This is the Steven Jackson who beat the shit out of somebody at Mouse at the Palace. This is not a real true leader that I should be following, and he's screwing it for himself.
Absolutely. They're going to start picking him apart. They're going to start picking his background apart, every little issue he's ever had, all that stuff. It's not a good week for anybody with the last name of Jackson.
Yeah.
It's just a bad week for the Jacksons in general. And that's 5 minutes on the nose. So the first topic we got, 5 minutes on the nose. Very good. I'm very proud of you and me as well. Rolling right into the second one here. This one's a little bit of a lighter-hearted topic. Your boy Patty Mahomes got broke off. The largest contract in the history of professional sports. 5 minutes starts now. Go.
So I want people to hit me up on my Twitter at Ricky Leaky. Explain to me how people come away with a $500 million deal as a team-friendly deal. Because
I kind of think it is. So we'll get to my thoughts on that in a second.
Right. Because the average annual value is going to be higher than any other quarterback. Well, because the point of this, they're trying to compare him to Tom Brady, how Tom Brady always took team-friendly deals. But this guy's going to be the highest-paid quarterback. So how is that a team-friendly deal?
Well, he'll be the highest-paid quarterback for right now because they've got that TV deal for the NFL that's coming up in a couple of years. And as long as, either CTE or Corona doesn't end the NFL, they're going to have a lot more money coming into it. So they, as far as his contract being team-friendly, it kind of is for a couple of reasons. It's the NFL. So if he breaks his leg or snaps his arm, there are ways to get out of underneath that contract. If this is the NBA or in Major League Baseball, because there's no cap, it really doesn't matter as long as your owner's got deep pockets. But if this is the NBA, you could really screw a team over with a 10-year deal. It has that weird feel. You're way too young to remember this, but Magic Johnson got a 25-year, $25 million deal. I think it was in 1983 off the top of my head, which is insane amount of money in 1983. Now, a minor leaguer almost makes that.
Right.
So the numbers are gonna kind of balance out. And the reason I feel that it is kind of team friendly, in 5 or 6 years, when that new team deal hits and your highest paid quarterback is Trevor Lawrence signing a contract for $70 million a year, the 50 that your boy Mahomes is getting right now is gonna look like a bargain. The other thing is it's really 12 years, not 10, because it was an extension. He still got 2 more years left on his original contract that's very team friendly. This was his rookie contract, and then it's going to jump to the bigger one. So they've got a small window here, a couple of years to play around with some money. And if he really is the truth and he's passing the eye test for all of us right now, it's going to be a bargain down the way. Now, the thing is, what we're going to have to learn, and we're going to learn this in New England right now, you brought up Tom Brady, is Brady a product of Belichick? Andy Reid's not getting any younger. Andy Reid's not getting any skinnier. So we're going to learn if Pat Mahomes is the truth, his arm is electric, his body's electric, or if he's just a product of the system.
Yeah. I mean, and even with, because I think a lot of times people are already just booking multiple championships for Kansas City, and that's just not how the NFL is constructed.
Not at all.
I mean, Kansas City the last 3 years has had a terrible defense. Their defense got hot at the right time, and their best player on defense doesn't want to play. So that's one thing that nobody's talking about. That's a huge deal.
And it isn't basketball. The best player on the field doesn't always win. Aaron Rodgers has won Super Bowl, and he's a bad man. Everyone would agree he's the best, most talented, whatever this, that, and the other. But he's just because you have your talented quarterback, you still got to have everything else. Now with the cap going up with that TV deal, I do think they'll still be able to get players in there. Andy Reid's the key, though. How long is Andy Reid going to coach? Is Mahomes good enough to be able to dominate without Andy Reid there? He admitted that he didn't know how to read a defense until Andy Reid taught him how to do it. Hopefully that information stays with him and he can move on moving forward. But we'll see. We got 1 minute.
Yeah. Just back to my original point, the NFL is not really made for dynasties, even on his end. I don't even know why for him. Do you trust that for 10 years, Kansas City's going to put the right players around you? When you can argue, other than Chris Jones and him, a lot of their best players on defense were all free agents, so they haven't really been able to draft good players on defense. Obviously, they got good offensive players. Obviously they got good offensive players because Andy Reid's there, but how long is he going to be there exactly?
He's playing with house money. He's already got a ring. Nothing else matters now.
No, I agree.
Matters. So he's already got the ring. He's going to be financially stable. Him and his brother could do the stupid TikToks for 1 million years or whatever. Yeah. They'll have enough money to do it. That's generational wealth. No one with the last name Mahomes will ever have to work again. So he's got that all locked down. He's already got his ring. He's already got his MVP. Did he get Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, because
he didn't play at all this first year. So he didn't get enough.
He was still considered a rookie.
Considered him a rookie. So his trophy case is already full. His bank account is already full. Now all he has to do is get a speech coach to fix that Kermit the Frog thing he's got going on with his voice. and his brother, my nephew texted me the other day that Pat Mahomes has enough money to buy a new brother. Apparently no one likes his little brother. I don't know, the kid seemed all right to me. Yo, 2 topics down, both of them 5 minutes on the nose. We're on fire right now, sir. We got the third one. We're staying with quarterbacks. Black quarterbacks, because Black lives do matter. In the NFL, Cam Newton is a New England Patriot. From the beginning, when we started this podcast, I was touting Jameis Winston was going to be going up to New England. I said it from the beginning. Jameis lost his mind and signed with the Saints. He's dead to me now. So your boy Cam ends up in New England. It's going to be very, very interesting. He is, and I've already started the clock here, he is a flamboyant. He's not. It doesn't fit into the Patriot mold. He doesn't fit into the Patriot way. He just said that he's tired of being humble. I've never thought of Cam Newton as humble, but you tell me what's going on with Cam Newton in New England. Is that going to work?
So a lot of the players are saying the Patriot way is winning football games. So if he plays well, he's gonna fit into the Patriot way, which I could see some of that because I think it's overblown that some fans and media members think Bill Belichick is like against people celebrating in the end zone. That's not true.
Bill Belichick just wants to win, dude.
Yeah, Belichick just wants to win. He works you so hard in practice every week. When you score, why not celebrate, right? So, but I actually think that this is the best case scenario for Cam because I think the team's going to win that division because I think they were going to win 9 games on defense and special teams anyways. So if he adds anything, that's 10, 11 wins right there. But the best case scenario for him is actually not being the starter right away. Just because of the shortened off season, it's going to be rough to begin with. So if he's coming in week 1 and they suck week 1 through 3 and he gets benched, he's never going to get a contract again. But now if you let Stidham come in weeks 1 through 3, stink up the joint, now you look like the season savior. You come in week 4, they start winning some games, then you're going to get that paycheck, and then the Patriots may actually win a playoff game. Because I think with him, the max, they can win a playoff game at home because they're going to win the division. So at home, they can win a playoff game.
It all comes down to health. We know the guy can play. He's only 32. I mean, we talk about him like he's Drew Brees' age or like he's Tom Brady's age. Granted, he's got a lot of miles on that body. He's got a lot of hits on that body. But they showed a video of him, that same one where he was walking around talking about there's antelopes and there's hyenas and all that in the jungle. The only thing that kind of jumped off the screen on that little video there is, Jesus Christ, that dude is massive. Guy is
Yes.
huge. He is a linebacker playing quarterback. So if that shoulder, if it's not held together with silly putty, if whatever treatment or whatever they did to his right shoulder, because a couple of years ago they had Derek Anderson coming in throwing Hail Marys at the end of halves because he couldn't get the ball out anymore. He had that labrum injury. So if the shoulder is healthy, we know the coaching is going to be in place. The offensive line in New England is going to work like clockwork, like they always do. The receivers are going to run perfect routes. Your boy Sony Michel and James White are going to be catching a million balls out of the backfield. That's just what the Patriots do. If his shoulder is healthy and he's 75, 80% of what MVP Cam was, New England's scary.
No, I agree.
With that being said, I don't think he's healthy. So if they play a truncated season, because they've already lopped off all of the preseason now, none of the teams are going to play preseason. The older players love that. The younger guys who are trying to make the team are shaking in their boots right now. They needed that to try to latch on somewhere. But if it's a truncated season, if it's 10, 8 games or something of that sort, Cam's got a better chance then. If they're playing 12 to 16, I don't think his body can hold up all the way through. He was
That's why
getting
coming
injured.
in late. That's why coming in after week 4 is a good thing for him. Or a week.
Yeah, they might want to say, but the flip side to that is you're bringing him in colder weather. He's never played in cold weather before. So how's his body going to react to that? And in Carolina gets chilly, but it doesn't get New England cold. Alabama's cold, but it doesn't get New England cold.
No way. And one thing I've always had with those videos, like you're trying to say you're coming back posting pictures of you at the gym doing tricep dips when that's not what you do to be a quarterback. If anything, most people I talk to, quarterbacks during the season, they actually, and this is probably something he should listen to, they actually want a little fat around them to withstand taking hits. Like, I think he's actually a little too lean to play quarterback.
Well, that's the whole thing. Remember that they kept saying that Mike Stanton was too ripped. That's why he kept hurting his rib cage and hurting his torso and all that. He was on the Marlins. He just worked too hard for his body to actually handle it. I used to work with a guy who actually threw his back out. Granted, he was on steroids, but he threw his back out bench pressing too much. It shifted a little bit, and just the body can only take so much.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Cam is Cam's trying to prove that he's healthy again. And the thing that worries me with that is he may hurt himself
doing that,
trying to prove that he's healthy. And if he's not anywhere around 80%, it's going to maybe a lost year for the Patriots. Never counted them out before, but Stidham's not taking them anywhere. They need Cam Newton to be healthy. They need maybe to bring in Josh Gordon or AB back, somebody of that sort. But if he's healthy, they're nasty. If not, my pick for the East is the Jets. I don't think Josh Allen is ready for prime time. That's 4 in a row at 5 minutes, right on the nose, sir. Let's go ahead. We got the last one here rolling into it. We got 10-year reactions. In fact, I'll give you an extra minute on this one here, Mr. Montel. We're going to go up to 6 minutes on this one. 10 years ago, it was last week. It wasn't exactly right now. Your boy, LeBron James, went in a Boys and Girls Club in Connecticut, and he broke the hearts of all those children and said those famous words now, "I'm taking my talents to South Beach." Got an extra minute on this one, so it's 6 minutes now. You have the floor first.
I mean, let's get past the fact that was one of the worst days of my life, only because, as the viewers hopefully know, we live in South Florida. So I had to put up with it all the time. I remember going to the Heat games. Half the people didn't even know who Alonzo Mourning was. That used to really bother me. So,
that bothers me tremendously. I'll take 8 seconds of your time here. We used to walk around when I worked at AutoNation with a picture of Harold Miner. And this is someone who won 2 slam dunk championships. It's not someone who's a mystery to NBA fans, fringe NBA fans. And these people were saying, "Oh, I'm the biggest Heat fan ever." I'll be like, "Who is this?" And hold this up. Maybe like, they couldn't tell. That's the thing that bothered me the most, but not the fact that the team that I hate, the Heat, and then I hate bothered a little bit, but the fact that the fans have latched on when this guy said, "I'm taking my talents to South Beach," when they latched on, didn't know anything about basketball at all. That annoyed me. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah, so I think that's the whole thing did a few things. Remember how we talked about earlier about doing something that distracts from what you originally try to do? There was a good purpose behind him doing that he wanted to donate this money to the Boys and Girls Club, but he just went around it the wrong way. He came off looking very arrogant. And he had beef. He had beef with the owner of Cleveland Shore, but like all reports said that he had some really good, deep relationships with other people in that organization. Forget the owner. He should have told those people at least, "Hey, I'm not coming back." That's the least they could have, because
it was a weak move.
That it was a completely weak move, and now it established precedent for all players to do that. And that's kind of what that's my least favorite thing about it. Guys don't want to win on their own anymore, and now you can't because no one's trying to do it on their own anymore, except people like Damian Lillard. But Damian Lillard basically kind of said the championship doesn't mean everything to him, and not every player feels like that.
But with Lillard as well too, Lillard also knows that if he wants to play with another superstar, he has to leave. Mm-hmm. No star is going to sign in Portland, as good as he is, and he's a great player. I mean, if you're a star in the NBA, that is the kind of guy you want next to. He's not afraid to take the last shot, but he understands that if he does want to play with another superstar, they're either going to have a shit year where they draft one, where they get lucky in the lottery, or that he leaves Portland, because it's not going to happen in the Trailblazers by somebody signing with him. Now that day, super disappointing for me as a Knicks fan as well. For years, for 2-3 years, we all saw the memes. LeBron's going to New York, the King in New York.
I never wanted that though.
The last player that wore 23 before. There's a slew of guys now, but it was Marcus Camby. It would have been the next 23 would have been him. He was going to resurrect the city. He doesn't understand that. Yes, he got his 2 rings in Miami, right? And Miami fans will talk to, they're blue in the face about, oh, you're just a hater, this, that, or the other thing. One championship in New York. Jerry Ferrara, Turtle from Entourage, was on a podcast I was listening to the other day and said exactly this. One championship in New York is worth 4 anywhere else.
Yes.
And CeCe Sabathia, who has been a champion in New York, said the same thing. He's like, granted, they only won the ALCS, not the whole thing when he was in Cleveland, but he's like, even that didn't feel the same. And the Yankee fans expect to win the ALCS. So winning a championship in New York quadruples it in basketball, because it's the one that hasn't won.
Right.
He tarnished his legacy and had to do the whole route back to Cleveland with I'm going home, and part of that was Riley wouldn't let him do what he wanted to do in Miami, so he went back to where they let him do what he wanted to do. Gets lucky that Draymond, punches him in the dick, and gets a championship for Cleveland. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if he could rewind to 10 years ago, if his decision would be different. And I'm not saying that as a Knicks fan. I'm saying, would he have stayed in Cleveland? Does he try to coerce Dwayne Wade to go to Chicago earlier? Maybe does he come to New York? But the only moves that would have saved his legacy or saved him from all of being a villain would have been staying in Cleveland, or if he had gone to New York, people would have given him credit for trying to take on the challenge. But it coming to Miami and teaming up with Bosh and Wade, and then doing that stupid WWF party they had, with it not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. Ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was a dog and pony show, and I think that if he could do it over again, even if he came to Miami, he would do it in a much more understated fashion, just a regular press conference. Shaq, when he got traded in Miami, he had like a bus come down to South Beach. He had like a party one day, and that's how they introduced that he was there. If he had done something normal like that, I don't think he gets the hate that he got.
And Shaq was also like not as sought after as he was like in the early, like when he was leaving the Magic. Like he was still kind of towards. I mean, he was still good, obviously, because they won a championship.
Yeah, he was an MVP candidate at that point, but he was at the tail end. LeBron was just ascending, and LeBron was 26, I think, at that point when he came to Miami. So this is his first. That was
the first year of his prime, exactly.
Absolutely.
That's really when you start entering your prime.
On point again. 5 minutes on the nose. We had 4 topics, 5 minutes apiece. That's 4 and 20. I'm going to be back on here tonight. I don't think Enrique's going to be with us tomorrow, but Get should be back. We're having a UFC Crackbats Combat episode tomorrow. We got a big UFC coming up on Saturday. UFC, one of the few sports that are actually going on through the pandemic here. For the Crackers family, of course, we want to make sure that everybody is safe. And Enrique, I know you had something you wanted to head us out with.
Before we sign out, 9 years ago today, the guy who runs the Marlins, Joel, that doesn't like, DJ became DJ 3K 9 years ago today, July 9th.
Captain.
Went 5 for 5 that game, by the way, as well, too, and hit a home run. Just he has a knack for the storybook endings, and that was pretty clear that game.
Yeah, so listen, I don't like the way the guys handling the Marlins right now, but I can't fight you. He's one of the best players and one of the best winners to ever play professional sports. So hopefully at some point that winner starts rubbing off on the new organization he's with. We'll see you soon. Have a good night. Crackbacks.